it to law of money number 5. If you haven't yet, be sure to catch laws 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 5 is the cherry on top of the first 4. And we all know the cherry is the most important part of the sundae or the cocktail. It's just not the same without a cherry, right? So here's your cherry in the form of law of money number 5. It might just be the most controversial of all the 5 laws of money. And if you haven't heard yet, these laws are inspired by the 5 rules of gold recorded in The Richest Man in Babylon by George S Clason and first published in 1926. I'm paying my homage to him. It's a wonderful book to read if you can get past how all the characters are male except for a few, right? And I want to pay that homage to him, but also do a little modernizing and feminizing for today. So welcome to the Fife Movement. I'm your host, Amanda Neely. This is the only movement that helps our generation create our unique feminine and entrepreneurial path to financial independence. I'm going to take you back to the summer 24-year-old Amanda would turn 25. I had just had the conversation with the Pauls from Law 2 that I told you about, and I had left my cubicle to embark on my entrepreneurial journey. The day after I wrapped up my duties at the nonprofit, I started an internship with a husband and wife team who ran a coffee shop on the other side of the city from where we thought, we were going to open up ours, and did open our bars. And I headed in for my first day of training. Thinking back on that woman who I was then, thinking back on her now 11 years later, I totally realized how romantical I was. I believed everything was possible. Anything was possible. I had no doubt that I could figure out how to get the $250,000 I needed to open the coffee shop despite being $50,000 in debt myself. Anyone who told me that what I was doing was impossible was ignored or put in the category of just overly pessimistic. Little did I know the struggle that was ahead. There'd be lots of ups for sure, but there sure were a whole lot of downs. I remember one day in particular, a few months later, where I just wanted to give up. Brandon came home from work and I was just in tears, ready to say, I'm done. I'm going to go find a job where this is done. Like, can't do this entrepreneurship thing. And it was times like that that I was grateful for 2 things. First, a partner to keep encouraging me on, we sat down, had some food, talked it through. By the end, I was like, okay, I'll keep trying, right? And then secondly, having this knowing that I know that opening this venture and going on this journey is part of my destiny. And I still believe that today, even after, we're not doing that anymore. We sold it. We're on a different journey, right? And if you've been an entrepreneur for some time, that story probably sounds familiar. I don't think any entrepreneur would start their business if they knew how hard it was really going to be. We have to have some sort of idealistic, romantical ideas, right? But we learn soon enough that we're also going to need to be realistic in order for our businesses to survive and hopefully thrive. Turns out this entrepreneurial journey and facing those ups and downs is a great training ground for law of money number 5. This law states, money flees from the woman who would force it to impossible earnings or who follows the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers or who trusts in her own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. There are so many people who believe they can still make millions overnight through business or through investments. What would it look like to flee from impossible earnings? How can you avoid the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers? When do you know you're trusting your inexperience too much? The best example I can give you is the stock market. Now, there are plenty of individuals who still believe they can make 12% or more investing in stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, index funds, whatever. And yet, A PhD economist named Wade Pfau has shown that the average investor over the last 20, 30 years has only made 3.88%, nowhere close to 12%. And he's like studied this really in depth. He's got a PhD. I trust him. He knows what he's talking about. Having those romantical ideas of 12%, though, can be very harmful for our present and for our futures. There have been other studies that have shown that that stock market volatility can impact your health by causing undue stress. And if you're expecting 12% and only make 3.88%, your financial strategy is going to be way off. No wonder so many people who have all of their life savings invested in the stock market are saying, holy cow, why don't I have what I thought I would have? Now, the stock market has a place in portfolios, but what if we weren't dependent on 12% growth? What if we build our strategies around 3.88 or less, and then we were pleasantly surprised if we did better? What would be our story then in 20, 30 years? And I have to say one more thing about the tricksters and schemers part of Law 5. One thing that frustrates me to no end is how they are allowed to calculate your average rate of return on your investment statements, whether a 401k, an IRA, brokerage account, whatever it is. The number you see where it says average return for the last however long on your statement, or when you log into your account to check your values, that average return can be very misleading. And if you want to know more, visit and see the numbers, see my proof. You can visit fifemovement.com and sign up for the 5-day mini course. Day 1, I share the details with actual numbers of why you can't trust that number and how it puts them into tricksters and schemers territory. For now, thanks for joining me and connecting with the Fife movement. I hope you've enjoyed these 5 laws of money. We're going to go into a new topic in the next episode. But for now, as you go about your day, remember, wealth is coming your way. Your quest is to prepare for using it well. And for more tips on how to prepare, be sure to subscribe. Next episode, we're going to talk about the golden rule. And then to connect with the community, visit fifemovement.com. Like I said, I've got that gift for you there too that will help share with you what I would love to share with you if we had the chance to grab a cup of coffee, but also connects you in with others who are on similar journeys. And if the gift of this episode has helped you today, please pay the gift forward by sharing this content with a friend. My gratitude in advance. To help this video be seen by more people, please hit the like button, and we invite your feedback in the comments